y'all, it's Amber. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Whether you're first time visitor, returning viewer, subscriber, welcome. Happy to have you. My baby boy is in the background. Say hi. As you can see, I have some gaps in the bookshelves because we are going to be going through a few of my summer book recommendations. And then most of these are actually going to be on my summer TBR. Now, I want us to be realistic. Am I going to read all of these books? No. Am I going to try to read at least half? Yes. In no particular order, I'm just going to grab them as they are stacked here. First, I have Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, and she's the same author of Nora Goes Off Script. It is about a woman is going through a separation or divorce from her husband and ends up meeting this other guy while she's walking her dog, and I guess we'll see that a summer fling ensues and we'll go from there. So I have only read one book by this author, and if I get to it this summer, great. If I don't, I'm okay with that as well, but I would like to. I love Like the Sun by Reese M. Nielsen. You have Lanaya Thompson, who's a homebody. You have Isaac Jordan, who's internet famous. They come together in this small town and have this small town romance is what I'm assuming. Excuse me. Sweet Heat by Balu Babalola. This is likely not a book that I'll get to read this summer. I can read it at any time, early September, August even. And so this is a sequel to Honey and Spice. The only reason why I am not committed to reading this book just yet is because I still need to finish Honey and Spice, and I DNF'd that about halfway through. And I don't know what it is about Honey and Spice that is just not resonating with me, but I want to give it an attempt to reread it. I think I spread it out over too much time and I just really lost interest. So I would like to reread it before I move on to Sweet Heat. Next book I have is by a very popular author during the summertime, Ellen Hildebrand, and this is The Perfect Couple. Another book that tends to come to my mind, and I guess we can preview an honorable mention, is The Hotel Nantucket. I do have this digital ebook copy, but I got the physical book because sometimes I like to read books physically. There's a wedding that's supposed to take place, but somebody dies before the wedding, and so it becomes, I think, like this mystery. I do feel like I've read this book before. I just cannot prove it, and I cannot be sure because the plot sounds so familiar to me. Next, I have Seven Summers by Paige Toon, and I heard about this book, I think, from Sarah Caroli, if I'm not mistaken. 6 summers ago, Liv and Finn meet working at a bar on the rugged Cornish coastline. Their future's full of promise, but when a night in passion ends in devastating tragedy, their hearts are bound together inextricably. I'm guessing this is one of those trope storylines where they come back together 7 different summers, or we get to see their lives changing over 7 summers. I'm just speculating at this point. Good job. Yay. We have One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Miss Carly Fortune has a new novel that comes out every summer, at least for the last few years or so, and she is very well known and appreciated for having her summer novels. I've heard mixed reviews about different books that she has written, and I know she just came out with Our Perfect Storm. Moving right along, I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and you have this literary agent and an editor, and they are competing with one another, but they also have to learn to work together, if I'm not mistaken, right? I want to go into it kind of blind, but this is a small town romance, it looks like, and I'm looking forward to actually being able to read it. This is the UK edition. I have quite a few Emily Henry UK editions because I just think that her book in the UK print is so pretty. Yeah, my baby likes book lovers, I see. I have The Romantic Agenda by Claire Khan. I read the top of this, y'all, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm really intrigued, and it bumped up on the top of my summer reading list. It says Joy is in love with Malcolm. Malcolm wants to date Summer. Summer is in love with Love, and Fox is Summer's ex-boyfriend. So I don't know how all of these are gonna fit together, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Love Song by L. Kennedy. Briar Universe standalone romance featuring the next generation of off-campus characters. So yeah, like the Deal and whatever the rest are. Where one unforgettable summer. The main character is going through a breakup. The MMC comes along and we go from there. So I'm guessing there's going to be a bond over music or something of that nature. Next up, I have Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. This is a book that I got last year. I'm definitely going to make it a priority to get this read this summer. I would like to continue on in the series even beyond the summer, but considering this is called Curvy Girl Summer, I definitely want to make sure to give it the time, attention, and hi, and care that it deserves. Next, I have Never Vacation with an Ex by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigma Broca. I have a lot of their books that they've written. I've kind of been collecting their books since they started writing. They write a lot of YA novels, and based on the cover of this is always going to be a YA. But I'm finding, just based on the back, that they've changed the covers. So the covers that I have were the pre-covers. I don't know if they were indie or if this is traditionally published or they just redid them and re-released them, but now I'm kind of intrigued to update the books because they are kind of old. These authors are a husband-wife duo. I believe that they were high school sweethearts. They co-write books together. I've enjoyed the books that I've read. I'm not going to put this high on a priority list, but I do think that I either need to read it or unhaul it. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I believe I got this book maybe originally 2-3 years ago, but I got rid of that because it was a book of the month copy and I got the paperback, and I actually forgot all about this book until I was watching the Summer TBR video recently, and it reminded me that I have this book and I wanted to read it, and I've kind of been in a mystery thriller type mood, so this seems like it'll be a really good read for me. If you see me kind of reaching forward, it's because I'm trying to make sure that my son does not knock over my tripod. First, we have Six Little Words by Sally Page, and I saw this book just browsing through the bookshelves of Barnes & Noble. It was actually at one of the front tables, and it seemed interesting to me, the plot. I've never heard of it. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, but the plot just seemed interesting to me, and it's like a play on writers and Shakespeare, and I'm about to start supporting high school and middle school English classes, which includes AP classes, which includes reading of Shakespeare. I've also taught English at the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. So this just kind of reminds me of my journey a little bit, even though I have nothing to do with the storyline whatsoever. But just the fact that it deals with Shakespeare and writers and just like getting outside of your comfort zone was what drew me to it. Next, I have Not Safe for Work. And this is a forced proximity type book. I believe you have two employees that end up having to go for an office conference or a retreat or something like that in Hawaii, and they end up staying in the same room. And I'm finding that I enjoy forced proximity. Sometimes I feel like they tend to be more comedic romances. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm definitely going to put it on my summer TBR. Next, I have Waiting to Exhale. Now, I do not think that this takes place over the summer. In fact, I think it takes place over a period of time. But this really reminds me of my childhood. This reminds me of summers when I would go to my aunt's houses and I would get to watch these movies or have access to my cousin's library that had a lot of Terry McMillan, because my aunt is also a reader as well. I used to actually get my first reads from my cousin, and so that just reminds me of summer. It's just the nostalgia of it all. Not necessarily that this is a summer read. This is going to be a part of a video series that I am going to be doing really soon. Play Along by Liz Tomford. This is a married in Vegas trope. I got married in Vegas, so I tend to flock towards books that include weddings in Vegas. This is a part of the Windy City series that takes place in Chicago, and if I like that, then I'll invest in the rest of the novels. The beautiful thing about romance series are typically they are interconnected standalone, so you do not have to read them in a particular order. Next is about a destination wedding, and it takes place in Capri. And it just sounds like something that just screams summer to me, even just based on the fact that it's a destination wedding. Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan. He is the author of the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, and I look forward to reading those as well. They're over here on my bookshelf, kind of leaning to the side. Ready or Not by Caraba Stone. I remember reading Promise Me Sunshine, and I really enjoyed it. This is an accidental pregnancy. A surprise pregnancy leads to even more life-changing revelations in this heartfelt, slow burn friends to lovers romance. The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan. The reason why I continue to add this to my summer TBR is because it was selected as former President Barack Obama's summer 2022 reading list pick. I did not realize that this book was that old, but I am a new mother, and I am finding that I am enjoying books about motherhood, about characters that are mothers, and I can connect with those that are not mothers because, again, I'm fairly new to it. But this plot and premise really caught my attention because a mom is really struggling to keep everything together and somehow finds herself being surveilled like other mothers. I'm guessing that she has to go through this good school for good mothers or this school for good mothers in order to get her daughter or to prove that she's a worthy mother. And I think that speaks a lot to today's society of how mothers have to jump through hoops to be determined to be a good mother when we should be caring for ourselves as individuals and peoples too. Next up, I have a fantasy, and this is The Hunger Games. And the reason why I put this on my my summer TBR list. It's not exactly because it's summer, but I know that in the fall, I am going to be looking forward to reading different series, different fantasy series. I really want to focus on dark academia and fantasy during the fall, and I'm really living my best romance life right now. I want to read the Hunger Games because a lot of these fantasy series that I have are game type books. And I don't mean games as in like, let's play the PlayStation and have a good time. I mean like where stakes like lives, kingdoms, futures are dependent upon it. And so I really want to read Hunger Games before I read the rest of those, because apparently this set the blueprint, this set the bar, and this one came out first. And it just looks really cute. The Really Dead Wives of New Jersey. Now, over the summer, I typically spend my time watching a lot of trash reality TV. I spend my time watching Real Housewives. And this is based on Real Housewives. I have not watched Real Housewives of New Jersey, nor do I have any interest in watching Real Housewives of New Jersey. However, once I heard the title and saw the premise, and this is another book that I saw on one of like the Barnes and Noble book tables, then I just had to have it. And it says, on this season of Garden State Goddesses. Getting canceled means getting... Okay. Next are going to be some books that have nothing to do with summer, but are just recent releases that I acquired recently. Yes, like Tia Williams' Misconnection. I pre-ordered that through Kindred Stories, which is a black-owned independent bookstore here in Houston. Another one that I just got recently, again through Kindred Stories, after going to an author talk, is Score by Kennedy Ryan. I just finished reading Real and the Close-Up in April, and I had the best time of my life. It is an autographed copy, and I cannot wait for y'all to see the vlog and video. The other one is a book that I actually got from San Antonio when I went with a group of friends and my husband, and I forgot to put it in the book haul. And I believe this is about two podcasters that work together, and then one mysteriously goes missing along with her husband. And so it becomes a matter of what happened and is this co-host responsible, I assume is where it's going. So I am definitely adding this to my summer TBR list. Next book that I also got on that San Antonio trip is The Secret Lives of Murderers' Wives. And again, I am in my ratchet reality TV. This is giving the Real Housewives of New Jersey or the Really Dead Wives of New Jersey type vibe. I'm obsessed with true crime. I've been watching a lot of documentaries with my summer break, and so I am thrilled to be able to read this. And it says, who better to catch a killer than those that have shared their lives with one? Sign me up. We're adding it to the summer TBR. And last but not least, as far as new releases that I have recently acquired, The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoss. I have The Bright Years behind me. I have still not been able to read The Bright Years, but I did get the e-art copy of The Burning Side, and I did not get to read it before it was released. I knew for sure that it was something that I had my heart set on reading, so I went ahead and bought the physical copy so that I can focus my digital space for other books that are not coming out as soon or not already out. I am looking forward to reading The Burning Side. This is about a couple who loses their home to a fire, and I'm guessing this might be a second chance romance type vibe, but is that the case when you're already married and living together? Y'all know what I'm trying to say? Honorable mention. So these are books that reminds me of summer, are taking place in summer, but I've already read. We have Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. I think this is part of the Love Life Farm series. Long story short, this is actually taking place in the summertime, and so I'm looking forward to reading that. She does have books for every season. Hopefully I'll get to read her. I am actually going to add this book to the summer TBR list. I didn't previously, but we're going to go ahead and add it. Next, I have Wildfire, and this is taking place during a summer camp. Apparently, this is the best book in the series, and it's very much giving summer. So we're also going to add this to the summer TBR list, but I'm going to have to start being for real. Next up, we have One Italian Summer. Need I say more? It's taking place in Italy during the summer. Next, I have The Woman in Cabin 10. I think about how I am an educator, so typically people that I know tend to go on their vacations during the summertime because they are fellow educators, and I just think cruises for the summer. I mean, people can go all year. It's giving summer on a cruise. Next is The Getaway, and this is about a getaway gone wrong. So this was previously in the classroom. I have started reading it before, but I didn't get to finish it. And so I do remember that this is about a vacation type place. What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I saw this in passing at Barnes & Noble. The final stack of books that I have, we'll go ahead and knock these two out at once because they're the same author. We have The X-Files and You with the View by Jessica Joyce. And these don't necessarily take place during the summer, I don't think. You with a View might, but I can't remember. I remember reading both of these in fall and I really enjoyed both. So I highly recommend if you are looking for some good destination reads, some good travel reads, which I tend to equate with the summer, then you will love those. Additionally, I have The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I read this book years ago and I actually remember enjoying it. Next, I have Swept Away, and this is about a couple by Beth O'Leary. This is about a couple that I believe they have a one-night stand and end up stranded on the same island together, and that just really screams summer to me as well. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I absolutely love this book. Devoured it, ate it up. Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends is the sequel to this, and it follows the daughter's perspective because she makes a cameo in here and she is spectacular, phenomenal. I think I like her low-key more than I like the mama. But this is a really good read. Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. This does have a sequel that just came out and it's already by my nightstand, and so I forgot to bring that out here. But I look forward to reading the sequel. I really enjoyed this one. I think I ate it up in like a day last summer. So I'm very much looking forward to reading the next one. There's also The Defender by Anna Huang, and World Cup is coming up, so I'm in my soccer mood right now. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.